Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 93 of this awesome, amazing Osu Let's Play series. In the last episode, I talked about tournament strategy and how the United States World Cup team strategized specifically for the Grand Finals match. And in this episode, I want to talk about low BPM. So basically, why playing low BPM is important, and especially being able to play low BPM after practicing high BPM. So I will talk about some of my personal thoughts regarding that. And before I get into the actual episode, I'd like to shout out as usual that I live stream every single day over at twitch.tv. So that will be linked in the description. But if you want to hang out with me or watch me play this game live or ask me questions, anything like that, please stop by, say hello. And also, bonus points if you tell me that you came from this Let's Play series. We'll be very happy to see you there. So, shout out, by the way, to Nayrex for suggesting this topic in the comments of a previous episode recently. Yes, and if you guys have suggestions for other topics, suggestions, then do leave them in the comments as well, because I do read all the comments on these videos. But yes, without any further ado, let's talk about low BPM. So, a lot of people, I think, when they're getting into Osu, especially with the intent of one day becoming, very skilled at the game, is they want to make sure that they don't fall into bad habits or that they're training properly in this game and things like that. And I think there's some worry, rightfully so, about feeling like you're improving too quickly and that you're like skipping over some skills. Like you're just playing too many hard things and not, focusing enough on your fundamentals, things like that. And I think low BPM's role in that. So I think the most common thing that happens is, let's say, like when you start playing this game, you can play like 160 BPM stuff maximum, and then you keep challenging your speed, and then you can play like 170, 180, all the way up to like 200 or maybe even like 210 BPM sometimes, depending on the map. And then suddenly, even though 160 BPM used to be what was very fast for you, it is now not very comfortable for you anymore, and it's like really slow. And first of all, I think being a very competent or like skilled player in this game does involve being able to play any BPM that's like within that is at or below your maximum, basically, and sort of having proficiency in like actually knowing how it feels to tap a certain BPM. I think a common pitfall that a lot of people fall into without realizing is actually a very fundamental sort of thing, is as you're pushing like your BPM cap, the problem is that you never really learn how to tap a certain BPM. You're just kind of tapping as fast as you can, and then whatever BPM that is, you just call that your maximum. So like, let's say it's 200 BPM. So like, if you were to tap as fast as you can, or okay, actually me for example, because this happened to me too. So for me, I think it was like 180 BPM. So once upon a time, if I just tapped the keys as fast as I could, it would be 180 BPM, or 180. And as I improved my sort of maximum tapping speed, that was no longer the case. It became like 190 or 200, just sort of through practice. But then I would go back to those same 180 BPM maps, and I would try to play them the same way I used to, by just tapping as fast as I could. But then now suddenly I'm just over tapping everything. It's too slow. And if you neglect that in favor of just trying to really improve and be like, oh gee, I want to be able to stream 300 BPM, so I'm just gonna not worry about it, then that is definitely, I think, a very sneaky form of like neglected fundamentals. And low BPM practice is really important in that regard. So let's see, I would say, oh, look at these avatars, look at these guys. Anyway, what's the next map to play? Let's just play some Senya songs. Nice wholesome low BPM. Okay, so yeah, I think basically if you find yourself in that boat, then you sort of have to take a step back and like learn what it actually feels like to tap a certain BPM consistently, rather than just sort of tapping as fast as you can, and like whatever BPM that is, then like that's just sort of what you can play. And think that involves, you know, as with most fundamental things, just sort of going back to stuff that is much lower than your skill cap ceiling and trying to place it very perfectly. And having actual control on your fingers is actually so important. Okay, it's actually so important for consistency and accuracy. Accuracy especially because obviously if you're only able to tap, I guess, by mashing and not actually control the speed that you're tapping, then obviously you're going to run into accuracy issues. Even if you can actually tap each circle, like, you know, just sort of hitting it, period, that is arguably not, you know, not considered very high skill level, right? So yes, let's see. I also think being very comfortable at low BPM with like a very comfortable tapping technique, actually, okay, fundamentals and skill cap definitely go hand in hand. And I think if you can't tap comfortably at low BPM, or actually, okay, if you can, then your technique is probably in a much more refined spot and like has a much higher maximum potential. And I sort of talked about this in my hard reset video, I think 2 episodes ago. So check that out, linked in the top right corner or in the description. But yes, I would say there's more merit to being able to play low BPM than just like low BPM naps, because it refines your tapping technique a lot in your fundamentals, and that gives you, like, inherently it gives you a higher maximum skill ceiling as well, because if you're like, again, the more refined your technique is, then the higher your potential is with it. So yeah, and I'm sure there are many parallels to other skills as well. I don't think it's really exclusive to just Osu, where if you have a very, very strong foundation of fundamentals, then you can basically just keep doing those fundamentals, but in more and more complex ways. And that is really what high skill cap looks like. So let's see, a bit more intricacy or in-depth on training low BPM rather than just play low BPM songs. So one more song, by the way, something probably a little shorter. Is this a shoot? Oh, okay, yeah, this one. Okay, this is Play with DT. This is a classic DT farm map. Okay. Yep, let's go. Okay, anyway. So, training low BPM, I think it's really tricky at first to sort of feel like you completely forgot how to play low BPM. But, dude, this song. Okay, I should have picked a different song. Alright, it's fine, Okay, I got this. Oh my god, okay. So, I think warming up on like really, really slow stuff actually is really strong, because if you warm up on really fast stuff and then try to go slower, especially if you already have a habit of playing low BPM, or playing fast BPM, or like playing too quickly, or not being good at low BPM, then if you warm up really fast and try to go slow, then it's just going to throw you off, because obviously you started the session sort of tapping really fast, and it's going to be a lot harder to try controlling your tapping. But if you if you start the session really slow in the first place, then I think there's a lot of value in, like, then throughout the session you're already warmed up to be sort of controlling your fingers. And I think if you're really trying to hard reset, then don't warm up with your old style and then try to go back to training this new style. So I'm so distracted by this song. Okay, this song is insane. Okay. But yeah, hopefully that's somewhat clear. I think those are pretty much all of my thoughts on low BPM. I would also say, okay, if you're practicing low BPM, if you are someone who's not very comfortable starting patterns with either finger, then I think as you're training low BPM, it's very good practice to also try practicing tapping with both fingers, or starting patterns with either finger, sort of almost at random. Just try to be as comfortable or equally comfortable with both fingers. There's a lot of value in doing that, I would say. Finger control in general, and just yeah, all good things, all good things. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, let me actually. Okay, I can play one more map. Okay, one more. Oh, I can talk about low BPM aim. Okay, yeah, low BPM aim is okay. So a lot of people are like, okay, I can play jumps if they are like above X BPM, like 190 or 200, and then if they're low BPM, then I get really thrown off. And I will say, it's okay. Low BPM jumps sometimes. Okay, how do I put this? With higher BPM jumps, there isn't much time to mess up. I feel like you just move your cursor and you tap, and then like there isn't as much time to like maybe leave the note too early or something like that. Which is I think usually the issue when people can play high BPM but not lower BPM. Either that or their cursor movement's not very straight. Like they might have like a lot of flowiness. Like I just tried to intentionally demonstrate that while I said it. Okay, there's another big jump here, I think. Oh shoot. Okay, I can't even do it intentionally. The 8 maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes a lot of shakiness. Okay, maybe if I tried aiming with my other hand. Okay. Anyway. Okay. No more trolling. No more trolling. But yeah, I think practicing moving your cursor in a straight line, that is also a very fundamental aspect of low BPM that translates very, very well to harder stuff. And that is the topic of what's called aim tapping synchronization, which I do have a previous episode on that linked in the top right corner or in the description. But yeah, aim tapping synchronization is I think actually huge for improving your skill cap as a whole. And it's one of those things that gets neglected, especially if you are trying to just gain rank in this game. Then at least in the current sort of meta of farming, then you end up just playing jump farm and like just trying to play really fast jumps, turn on DT, and I think that can lead to a lot of skipping over the fundamentals of aim and make sure you land in the middle of each circle, or like moving in a straight line between circles and not like leaving the note, or like tapping after you leave the note, for example. So honestly, training low BPM just trains all the sort of control that you would ideally want out of being a consistent player, or just having a very strong fundamentals, and that just lending itself very well to high BPM. So yes, hopefully. Oh, look at these jumps! Look at these jumps! Oh my god. Yeah, this map's actually pretty good for this low BPM aim practice. Actually, personally, I use this map, so I have like a CS7 edit of this map, and I sometimes play it like really small CS to practice warming up. Actually, I think I did that. I do that for some like really big tournament matches if I'm really trying to calibrate my aim. And I play this map with like CS9. Well, obviously it depends on your current skill level what CS you might want to edit to, but yeah, I think small CS, low BPM is a really good way to keep training those fundamental skills and things like that, and make sure you're always improving, always challenging yourself. But yes, with that is pretty much going to do it for this episode. Just a quick little talk about low BPM. Hopefully you found that helpful. And as usual, the maps that I played in this episode will be linked in the description. But if you have suggestions for future episodes, please do leave them in the comment section. I do read all the comments on these videos. And if you're watching in the future, do check out my channel, check out my other videos, and check out my live streams as well. I stream every single day. But with that, I'll see you guys next time.